Hi, hello, I'm Sam Harrison. I read, review, discuss fantasy and science fiction books. Today is my monthly recap for February 2024. We're going to talk about the books that I read last month. We're going to talk about the channel. We're going to talk about the videos that I've made and any kind of random reading stats. And then we are going to chat about the kind of films and TV shows and other things that I watched in February, and video games, of course, and anything else that kind of comes to mind. So let's start off with the most important thing, the books that I read in February. I started the month strong with, not actually this book, with Golden Sun by Pierce Brown. What an incredible intro. I started the month strong with Golden Sun by Pierce Brown. This is the second book in the Red Rising trilogy. It's most people's favourite, and I really loved it as well. I rated this a 5-star when I finished the book, but on reflection, I did actually reduce that to 4 stars, mostly because I got some kind of... I've just finished reading Morningstar for reference, and in Morningstar I feel like I got a little bit more emotional involvement and impact, so I ended up rating this one as a 4-star. This is a really good book. It's a great sequel to Red Rising. It's a much improved tale. You get rid of pretty much all of the most objectionable stuff. My big criticism of this book is, again, just kind of missing that 5-star feeling, I think. And also, it's a bit weird that basically every character in this book is a gold, when this story is about the uprising against the golds. So not in any way a bad book by any estimation. This is a really good book, and I would definitely recommend reading the Red Rising series. Now that I've finished the first trilogy, I think that it's a pretty good trilogy, and I'm looking forward to reading some more of those books much later in the year. After that, let's talk about books that I really loved. This is The Great Hunt, Book 2 in the Wheel of Time. I thought that I'd accidentally picked up The Dragon Reborn because I'm reading that at the moment, and for like 1 second I was like, oh no. So The Great Hunt is the second book in the Wheel of Time. I rated this one a 4-star, the same as I rated The Eye of the World, although in many videos you've heard me talk about such a thing as like, oh, this was like a high 4-star and a low 4-star. This one was a high 4-star, whereas The Eye of the World was kind of a low 4-star. The big thing that pushed The Eye of the World from a 3 to a 4 for me was how surprised I was at how much I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed Eye of the World, and The Great Hunt is absolutely no different. I think that the main issue I have with this is that Matt is still like AWOL as a character. He has, God, I feel like he has like 4 scenes in this entire book, and in all of them he's rubbish. And the book kind of wants you to care about Matt and Perrin, but like they just don't have much to do. And Perrin has a lot less to do in this book as well, because he's split off from Rand with Matt, with the group of characters that Matt is with, that don't really get much screen time. Anyway, really enjoyed The Great Hunt. I'm incredibly excited to be starting The Dragon Reborn. I've read a couple of chapters now, and we're back, you know, we're back into Jordan's world. It's just a really good series that I'm having a really good time with. I'm curious to see how I feel about it when we get to some of the later books that people don't like. But for now, I don't think we're in the slog at all. I think we're in the fun. We're in the fun part. Most people say the next book is, if not the best Wheel of Time book, one of the best. Howling Dark by Christopher Rocchio was my third book of the month. I gave this one a 4-star as well. I've actually recorded a full spoiler discussion for this book. The full spoiler discussion for The Great Hunt is being recorded this week, so will end up coming out sometime in March. Although, as I said before, I think that's going to be on Matt's channel this time. Now, Howling Dark, I've recorded a full spoiler discussion with this with Ross from Hardy's Books. I've also got a review on the channel, as I have for all of the books that I've talked about here. I really enjoyed this one. I think that this one gets into the story stuff that I was most interested in book one, which is kind of the extra Solarians, the Quiet, the Cielcin, and it makes that like the focus of the book, rather than in book one. The focus of the book is really like Hadrian's Dark Night of the Soul, to steal a term from Ross. So this was a great book. I really liked reading out of this big, lovely, floppy American paperback as well. It is actually a UK paperback, but it's kind of the American style, like the tall and floppy version. Definitely recommend this series. We'll absolutely be carrying on with this series, although my plan in March is to just read novellas, to not actually read a full Sunita book. So there's a novella called Queen Amid Ashes, and there is a thingamajig. There is a short story collection called Tales of the Sun Eater. I will probably be listening to both of those via audiobook when I'm out at the gym and stuff like that. I do have a self-pub book lined up this month that doesn't have an audio book, so it'll likely be during then that I switch to Sun Eater for my audio. Next up, indie books. Blood Rain by Ezra Payne. This is the indie debut or fantasy novel by Ezra Payne, a lovely guy who I had a fantastic chat with on the channel. You can watch my review and our interview discussion. Both went up last week, I think. Blood Rain is an incredibly fast-paced, I mean, we're talking breakneck, makes Harry Dresden books look slow, fantasy novel, with some really good world building that avoids info dumps. And for those of you who are reading stuff like, for example, Wheel of Time, and are kind of getting a bit tired of the glacial pace of that sort of 700-page fantasy book where 300 pages is about two guys walking down a road, if you're that kind of person and you're looking for a change from that sort of book, then this is definitely one that you should keep an eye out for. It's also available on Kindle Unlimited, so if you're interested in reading it, you can just read a couple of chapters to see if it is for you. Next up, we have a book that I was actually reading at the same time via audio as Blood Rain, and this is actually my first ever DNF on the channel. Empire of the Vampire by J. Christoph. There are multiple reasons why people have told me they've DNF'd this book, and unfortunately, really, none of those reasons applied to me. I have to say that I just found it quite hard to get connected to the story and the characters in this book. I don't think that the framing device for it of the main character, Gabriel, telling us the story of his life kind of from the end of it really worked for me. In a way that it has worked in other books, like, for example, Howling Dark. So yeah, I think also the world wasn't really what I was expecting. I thought it was more of an urban fantasy than a medieval fantasy. Basically, a ton of things conspired together to make it that this book just really wasn't for me. And I'm not going to read a book that's 700 pages when it's not for me. So, unfortunately, I decided to DNF it. It isn't a permanent DNF. I can see myself coming back to it now I know a bit more about the story and I'm prepared for what's in it. But for the time being, and likely for the whole of this year, I won't be picking that one up again. Finally, at the very closing days of the month, I decided to start my March TBR early and started Morning Star. I have since finished Morning Star, and there will be a review going up on the channel. Well, I'm going to film it like straight after this. There'll be a review going up on the channel ASAP, but I will hold on to my thoughts because I kind of want to talk about this in the March, because I did finish it in March. I just started it on like the 28th or 29th of February. Anyway, those are all the books that I read this month, and in fact 2 that I didn't finish, one because I finished it in March, but this month I also released 21 videos. So most months I release 20, but because I did one live video, that counted, I think, as a video. Basically, I live streamed a video game so that I could test out whether my setup that I use for doing video interviews could also be used to do those live. So good news, it does work. I absolutely could do live streams. I don't currently have any planned. What I was thinking was that maybe I would do a live stream for hitting 500 subscribers. I don't know when that's going to be because my subscriber growth has slowed down massively. So that could still be a month or so away. However, I did enjoy doing live streaming. And if people are curious about doing more live stuff or would like to see more live stuff from me, then drop down in the comments, let me know, and I'll try and think up some fun live stream ideas. Maybe we could do some tier ranking via a live stream or something similar like that. So I actually got more views than ever, despite the subscriber growth being very slow. I actually got more views than ever in February. So I got 7,000 views this month. 88% of people who watch my channel were not return viewers. So don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I guess more new eyes on the channel. And ironically, most of the people watch stuff that I made between September and January. So in the previous 5 months to February, most people actually spent their time watching those videos. It's great to get your back catalogue to get loads of views. That's kind of how I want everything, is that I don't know, not everything. I would like my back catalogue of videos to continue to get views because they're all video reviews, so you can just watch them whenever you like. Whenever you finish your book, you don't have to watch it straight away. Yeah, I mean, obviously I'd like more views, I'd like more comments, I'd like more subscriptions, but I guess I just have to make better content. Speaking of content, we had 463 likes, which is quite fun, 9 shares of my videos, and 126 comments. In terms of subscribers, in February, I've just got the tablet here with the analytics open. In February, we got 84 subscribers, which is actually 15% less than in January, which was 110 subscribers. Well, it's 15% less than the same period of days in January, the 3rd to the 31st. It's actually lower if you look at it as over the whole month. I don't know why the subscriber growth has slowed down. I talked about this on Twitter this morning. It's gone from 30 plus a week. I think one week I got 40. Most weeks I was getting between 30 and 35. And now I'm struggling to hit 10 subscribers in a week. Absolutely no idea why that might be. I have heard that YouTube growth slows down at the beginning of the year. And maybe I was due a slowdown in January, but I started Red Rising, Sun Eater, and Wheel of Time, so a lot of people jumped on the channel. Anyway, I'm not going to dwell on this too much. It is a bit disheartening, and I would be lying if I told you guys that the incredibly slow subscriber growth, compared to how it was, is not a bit worrying in ways that I'm oh, I thought this channel was growing and was well liked, but now it seems to be stagnating a little bit. It is still growing, just growing at a much slower rate. I mean, if I had been continuing to get subscribers the same way I was getting them in January and early February throughout the rest of the year, I'd have probably been able to monetize the channel in May or June, whereas now it probably won't even be this year if it carries on at this rate. But monetization is not the goal for this channel. The goal is to find people to talk to about books. Monetization is like a nice bonus that is a goal to kind of look forward and to shoot for. So to be clear, I'm not stopping doing the channel. Obviously, I wouldn't be making this video if I was going to stop making videos. I'm not going to reduce the amount of videos that I make for the time being. I probably will over the summer when my son's home from school, because there's just a lot less time to film, because I film during my lunch breaks when he's not here, and he is too loud for me to film when he's at home. He's just a tornado of noise and mess, which is absolutely great, but it means I struggle to film. And also filming in the evening takes time out of my reading time, which is mostly evenings. So all in all, it kind of makes sense for me to film less over the summer probably. But we'll see. I'll try and do 5 videos a week, and it's just maybe that 1 or 2 videos get skipped. But absolutely no intention to reduce the volume of videos, no intention to change the kind of content that I make, aside from the channel update that I made earlier in February, where I just kind of said to you guys that I'm not going to structure the first 3 videos of the week as much in the schedule anymore. So previously it was Monday review, Tuesday kind of discussion, Wednesday review. Now Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are going to be open for reviews, discussions, weird topics I want to talk about, all that sort of stuff. So I think what this is going to be is some slightly more engaging content, and for me not to be forcing myself and rushing myself through a book to hit an arbitrary goal. So I think mostly this is going to be better for you and for me. Please leave some comments down below, any things you want me to talk about, or any things you want me to focus on, or not focus on, any things you want me to talk about. So if you're like, oh, I'd love for you to do a video on the best books you've read in Q1, then let me know and we'll see if we can do something about it. That's everything for channel growth and channel stats for this month. Not really any big life updates this month. Yeah, no, nothing really. I'm going to Glasgow in April. So that should be really fun. I've got an entire day there by myself before my friends that I'm meeting up with arrive. So I think I'm going to use that time to do a little bit of a tour of some Glasgow bookshops. If I can find any really cool independent ones that it might be worth showcasing to you guys, then I'll try and do some like shorts or something like that. On top of that, anything else that I needed to talk about? I think that's basically everything in terms of content outside of the world of books that I've been consuming this month. I did watch Dune 2. I am going to try and see, I think, if I can find another booktuber to talk about Dune 2 with, just to, I don't know, have some chats and some fun talk about Dune, and there's some fun things that I noticed that I want to talk about as a book reader, but also as a Denis Villeneuve fan. And then also I have been playing 2 video games, which is very impressive for me, who I normally just spend all my time reading and don't have any time to play games. I have been playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is not the new version. It is the 2020 game. I basically was like, I want to play Rebirth, and you can't play Rebirth without playing Remake, so I'm finishing Remake. I never finished it in the past, but I'm currently further than I have ever been, having restarted. So looking forward to finishing that game, and then probably playing Rebirth like next month. I don't know. I want to play Crisis Core as well, so we'll see how much time I have to dedicate to games. Also, I did play the Unicorn Overlord demo. I forgot to mention that. That game looks really good. If you're a big fantasy fan and you like strategy games, Unicorn Overlord might be the one for you. It seems like it's got a really strong fantasy story. I love where it's going so far, and I will probably be picking up the full version. Finally, we'll talk about my beloved Balatro. I've actually got a video of me playing Balatro on the channel. I'll try and put that in the link below. It's just amazing. It's a poker themed roguelike, although you don't need to know anything about poker to be able to enjoy it or play it, because I literally haven't played poker for 20 years. So if you're interested in roguelike deck building games and kind of like these addictive, like one more turn, one more try style of games, I would massively recommend Balatro. It's like £12 and I've spent 25 hours playing it this month. So if you want to see the reason why I only read 5 books instead of 6 in February, then watch my Balatro video. I think I do a decent job of explaining the game and how I'm playing, but you'll have to let me know. Other than that, I think that's everything. So thanks so much for watching. Please don't feel that I'm bullying you into subscribing, but it'd be lovely if you subscribed if you don't already. And please drop a comment down below, because that tells YouTube that you think my videos are worth interacting with. And please share my video with any of your friends that you are trying to convince to read books, or you think would just like the channel. I'd love to have more people in this community. So thanks again so much for watching, and I will speak to you tomorrow. Wait, don't go yet. I'm doing a charity drive for BCHC, the Birmingham Community Healthcare Charity. They are a charity attached to the Birmingham's kind of National Health Service, and what they do is they raise money for small little things that can help support patients and the families of patients, things like books, toys, toiletries. Also, they do big projects, like they have funded the creation of a playground for children with prosthetic limbs. Now, if you would like to support this charity, you can go to the link in the description for this video and donate some money to my charity appeal. I'd be really grateful if you do so. This is an absolutely fantastic charity. While they aren't local to me, the charity drive is run by a friend of mine, Stace, and I don't know about you, but I'm going to be reading as many books as possible in March anyway, so might as well use that to raise some money for a good cause. Please donate to the link in the description below. Thanks so much for watching. See you soon.